Yo friends, welcome to Next Level Consciousness with Linnea Stella. Today we're going to talk about a super important topic, namely how to break the addiction to hustling. So what do I mean by hustling? I basically mean the idea that you need to work hard all the time and possibly barely make ends meet. Like work hard for little compensation, because that is the programming that we have in society, in the matrix. And of course, what this programming does to us is that it keeps us in a state where we are disconnected from our true power. And of course, I am working hard right now with my YouTube channel, but that is something that brings me so much joy, and I love it so much, and it is just the best thing ever. So I don't really count that as hustling. But even with the things that you love, even if you have a business, if you have a YouTube channel, if you're a content creator, it is important still to take breaks. And to be completely honest with you, I am still working on this myself, because it is so easy, especially with my human design. Okay, so this video is a little all over the place, but let's start by looking at that human design. We can see that 70% of the population are some kind of generators or manifesting generators. So that is the vast majority of people. And what it means to be a generator is that you have an inner engine that generates life force, prana, and energy to be active and to be doing. Now, what many people do who are generators or manifesting generators is that they confuse doing with hustling. But doing doesn't need to mean that you are in this stressed mode and you are working hard and you're working for a boss if you don't feel like working for a boss. It doesn't have to be productive. That is the important thing. So you will have a lot of energy if you are some kind of generator, but you don't need to use that energy to do something productive. So that is the deconditioning I want you to look at if you are a generator or manifesting generator, because you light up and you light up the people around you when you are doing the things that you love, okay, the things that you truly enjoy. That is when your engine is working at its highest efficiency. How do you say? That's when it works in the most optimal state, when it's like completely frictionless. But if you are working with something that you don't like, even if you are a generator and you have this capacity of generating energy, it's gonna be like if you are driving a car with speeds. Okay, I'm losing all the US people here who don't have speeds on their cars. Speeds, do you say that? But if you, for example, are driving on the highway and you're driving on speed number 1, that is not optimal, because your engine is gonna go to very high revs. It's gonna be like super high, and it's gonna put in so much effort to take you at such a high speed. However, if you are on speed 5 or 6, then, or if you have an automated car, you're automatically gonna be on the speed that is correct for you. That means that you're gonna be so much more smooth sailing. So what I mean by this analogy is that as a generator, yes, you can hustle maybe a little more than the rest of us, because I'm not a generator, but it is gonna be so much smoother. You're gonna feel so much more high vibrational. You're literally gonna be more high vibrational when you focus that energy and that life force on the things that you enjoy, and not the things that other people want for you, that other people want you to do, that society says, that maybe your parents or family think is a good thing, but the thing that your soul wants you to do. So that's such an important distinction to make if you are a generator. For the remaining 30% of us who are so-called non-sacral beings, that is the manifestors, reflectors, and projectors, I'm personally a manifestor, that means that we don't have access to this consistent energy of doing. And we are designed to relatively be a little more in resting mode than the generators. But the challenge for us is, number 1, to believe that we can get as abundant as the generators in all areas of life by doing less. So maybe the generators, their optimal ratio is to be doing things 80% of the time, resting 20% of the time. I'm making these numbers up, but it's just, the comparison is relevant. And for manifestors, projectors, reflectors, if we just clump them together, even if it's different between them, maybe it is 40% doing and 60% relaxing and resting and being in receiving mode. So it is different, and that's why comparing yourself to others, it literally doesn't make any sense, because we all have different designs, different human designs. But if you are a non-sacral being, you're gonna find that there are periods of time when you can work really intensely and you can get maybe 3 days work of done in half a day. But then after that, you're completely exhausted and you need to rest. So for you, being active and working is gonna look like whoop, 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 whoop. It's gonna be like a lot of ups and downs, and that's just natural. That is how your energy works. Because of the conditioning in society, it can be really hard to accept this because we have been taught that we are more linear in energy, which is true for the majority of people, the generators. So that is important to look at first of all when it comes to deconditioning and quitting the addiction to hustling. Another aspect of your human design is your root center. So the root center is the little square that is located at the bottom of your chart. This was it's not a super pedagogic picture because you don't see the rest, but it is really literally the square at the very bottom. That is your root center. Now, if your root center is filled, it's colored in, that was ugly. That means that you have a defined root center. If you have a defined root center, you are able to leverage the stress hormones and energy to get things done in a short amount of time. Okay, so you are able to work with deadlines to motivate yourself to get a lot of work done in a short amount of time. But the important thing is that this is your turbo fuel and it's meant just for that. In the exceptional case that you have a deadline to meet and you're like, okay, this needs to be done in 2 hours, then you can go all in, you can get it done, but you need to rest and recharge after. And the risk when you have a defined root center, you have that bottom square colored in, is that you are gonna get addicted to be in that state. You are gonna constantly try to be in that state of feeling the stress hormones, the adrenaline, and you are not designed for that because no one is. All humans need a balance between doing and resting. So that is so important to ask yourself, do I believe that I need to feel stressed and feel like super jittery, like I just have a huge bowl of coffee in order to make a good job? Because that is not the case. You need to decondition your mind from believing that it needs to feel stressed to do a good job. You have that extra thing to use just in case. But it's like, think about a rocket. This is a rocket. No. This is very clearly a rocket. A rocket uses a lot of fuel for the ascent in the beginning, when it's leaving the NASA space station. But then when it goes out of the atmosphere of the Earth, there is less gravity and it's using a lot less fuel. I am not an astronaut, apparently. But at least so I think, because the same is true for airplanes. I don't know, they use a lot of more energy during takeoff. And then they are basically gliding when they are at a cruising altitude. So the same goes for you. You are a rocket ship. And you are not meant to constantly be putting the maximum amount of fuel. Okay, this goes for all kinds of designs. So let's move on from human design and ask ourselves, why? Why do we get into this state where we are addicted to the hustle? And the surprising thing, maybe for some of us, not for some of us, is that we acquire our nervous system priming in childhood. So if you are addicted to the hustle, chances are that your parents, your primary caregivers, or the adults that you spent a lot of time around, they were also addicted to the hustle. They were constantly doing things, they never allowed themselves to rest. And I mean, that was a lot more common also for the generation before ours. Okay, we're all in different generations. But it was a lot more common maybe 30, 40 years ago, when there wasn't as much awareness and consciousness around that, hey, we actually need to allow ourselves to rest. So chances are that if you didn't grow up with parents who were super aware and super conscious and had worked through the majority of their own trauma, they unintentionally passed on this to you. And they taught you through their energy, because kids are primed to their parents' nervous system. They taught you that you need to constantly be doing and that it's not safe to rest. Because more likely than not, that was the state that they were living from. So this is just like kind of an insidious limiting belief, because it wasn't something that was pronounced, but it was shown to you through action that it is not safe for you to rest and relax. So the consequences from you, because as kids, we just absorb everything as truth and we don't question the validity of things, is that you learned subconsciously that I cannot rest, I cannot relax. And you may also have acquired a limiting belief, either as I am unsafe, like it is not safe for me to rest, or I am unworthy of resting, or I am not good enough to rest. So just feel into it, because all my videos strive to make you more self-aware. Because being self-aware, that is really the portal to next level consciousness. Like you can't reach next level consciousness without self-awareness. Next level consciousness starts with you. It starts from within. That is the only way. So that is why I am encouraging you to really feel into, okay, if that resonates, that, okay, I am addicted to stress hormones, I never allow myself to rest, ask yourself why, and try to get to the core of it like a curious scientist. It's very exciting, these kind of things. Like, what is actually going on here? Do I feel unsafe, unworthy, not good enough? Maybe there's something else that I have forgotten to mention, but really feel into what is true to me in this case. And the good thing is that when you find the root cause, because I'm unsafe, I'm unworthy, I'm not good enough, they are all core wounds, which are our deepest seated limiting beliefs, then you can go and reprogram those core wounds and limiting beliefs. And that is the beautiful thing, because in just 21 days, if you commit to this, you will be able to see a huge difference, and you will just start to feel a lot more safe or worthy or good enough. And I know, because I have tried this for myself and it works. And also I worked with coaching clients, and they came to me and they felt very powerless or helpless around certain things. And I gave them this exercise, and they come back, and after a couple of weeks they're like, oh, I haven't felt helpless and powerless in weeks. I don't know what happened. I didn't even notice. So this actually works. It's super powerful. And maybe some of you think that it's too simple to actually work. But the tool I suggest for you is called auto-suggestion. And you can watch my video on core wounds. I'm going to link that down below. And then I'm explaining this exercise in detail. But the only thing you need, that is the beauty of it. You don't need some kind of super high-tech biohacking things. You just need a paper, pen, and 21 days. And you're going to release this limiting belief that keeps you addicted to the hustle. And you are going to allow yourself to rest from within. Okay, because that is really how we change. You don't change by simply telling yourself, oh, I should maybe allow myself to rest more. Well, that is just a conscious mind, which is 5% of you. You need to work on the subconscious mind. And I hope that this video gave you a little more awareness of what exactly it is for you that is keeping you in the hustle. Because what has happened is that the things that we experience in childhood creates our subconscious comfort zone. So even if it was things that are directly unhealthy and they go against us living our highest potential and embodying our highest self, we tend to repeat them and repeat them and repeat them over and over until we make a conscious effort to break them, because your subconscious is your source code and you need to go in and rewrite that source code to see change. And then the next thing I want you to do, which is also kind of subconscious reprogramming, is to look at hustling as a phenomenon, just separate from you for a moment, and look at what are the associations that you have around hustling. Because the thing is that if you stick to a habit, in this case to hustling, to not allowing yourself to rest, it is because you have more positive subconscious associations, more positive emotional associations to that very thing, in this case hustling, than negative. And the thing that you can do, a trick to flip the script, is to rewrite it and say, okay, what are the negative consequences with hustling? Because if you are here watching this video, it means that you at some level resonate with the fact that you're hustling, and you see a lot of negative consequences with it on a conscious level. And your task right now is to convince your subconscious of these negative consequences. Okay, so you're literally selling a concept to yourself. The conscious part of yourself is selling to the subconscious part of yourself. I told you this is exciting stuff. So look at, okay, what are the negative consequences? And for example, maybe that I feel constantly stressed. I feel like my creativity is dampered, like I can't be as creative as I can. I don't have time to see my friends and family and socialize. I don't have time for the things that light me up, and I'm constantly exhausted, and I may be addicted to coffee as a consequence because I am working all the time. Maybe you have some health issues as well. Maybe you have insomnia. You feel like you have adrenal fatigue. Your system is starting to collapse. Well, that was very dark. But you get what I mean. There are negative consequences with hustling. You just need to sell the idea to your subconscious. And the thing you do is exactly the same way that you do with the auto-suggestion exercise that I suggested for the core wounds. So you look at all the negative consequences for 21 days. You list them out and you look at them and you try to feel them in your body, because feeling is the key to your subconscious, your emotions. So try to feel them. And if you have emotional authority in human design, it's by nature a little harder for you to feel emotions that you don't naturally feel. You are not wired for feeling from the outside or from trying to put yourself in an emotional state. Your emotions come naturally from the inside. So only if it resonates, try to feel it. But at least look at it. Look at the negative consequences. And then I want you to, next to that, in another column, write all the positive consequences of releasing hustling. What are the positive consequences of feeling like, oh, I don't need to overwork, maybe with something that I don't even like. I don't need to be constantly on. I don't need to be on the hamster wheel. I can actually relax. I can sleep in. I can go to yoga class and actually be present instead of thinking about my to-do list or what I wrote in that email or what I'm gonna do for grocery shopping afterwards. So write all the positive consequences that are gonna come in your social life, maybe in your finances, because maybe also if you are in this stress state, you are buying impulsively as a way to try to soothe your nerves. Look at the positive consequences in the health area of your life and try to look just in different areas of your life. What are the positive consequences? And then every night, every morning, you look at the negative consequences of hustling, the positive consequences of letting go. So I promise you, if you look at the core wounds that the hustling are tied into, because that is literally like the ropes that are tying the behavior of hustling to your person, okay, and keep you stuck in that cycle. And then you look at the negative consequences of hustling and the positive consequences of letting go. It is going to be so much easier. Within a month from now, if you commit to doing this every day, you're going to see a completely different reality. And you're maybe going to comment on this video and you're going to be like, what just happened? Like, why do I feel so much more safe in my body? I feel so much more calm. I don't feel the need to constantly be doing. It is worth a try. So I really, really, really want you to feel that it is safe for you to relax, because that is the only state from which you can reach next level consciousness. Okay, so go and try this out. Let me know in the comments how it went. If you got any value from this video, please hit the like button, subscribe for more videos like this. I am here to help you reach next level consciousness. Okay, I love you. I see you in the next one.